Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs, what's going on? Welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are now watching TLP Live Monday Night Football. I'm your host, Harry Billion. Welcome to the show tonight. You seen the cover? Well, yeah, you seen the thumbnail. You seen the title. Tonight we're going to be talking about Coach Sapp being in the building. And then we're going to be talking about, we're going to get to some recruits. But tonight's show is unique to Coach Sapp, what he means to Colorado, what he means to Coach Prime. I did a video. I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to watch that video, but hopefully you had a chance to watch that video where I kind of reacted to what I guess his introduction. So if you didn't have a chance to watch that video, you can watch that video after the live. But welcome everyone to the live Monday Night Football. I apologize for being late. Yes, I am. Running into some more technical stuff, so it happens. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? But Monday Night Football, TLP Live, we talk about everything that went on from the last show, which is on Friday, to now, which is Monday night, and I'm sure I am sharing Caitlin and Reese. I'm trying to steal some views from them as well. So if you're watching the game, let us know what the score is. But I thought about it. I was like, should we watch the game or should I go ahead and do Monday Night Football? If you're watching the game, just let us know what the score is, okay? And I got to get it on the record. The Lady Buffs, they tried very hard. They did their best job, but Kaylin was just too much. Kaylin alone dismantled them, okay? I'm just going to let you know. Well, maybe not her. Well, yes, it was Kaylin alone. Because of her passing and all of those things and how she was able to, a floor general, a really good floor general like Kaylin is going to dismantle your team. And at the end, the Lady Buffs just didn't have the feet, in the Sweet 16 to take down Kaylin and her crew, Iowa. All right? So now you're going to get Angel Reese and Kaylin LSU tonight. And, you know what I'm saying? But I got to do my show. The show got to keep going. All right, so it is what it is. Let's go. All right. Okay, MSA, I gotta go. I gotta watch the game. I get it. I understand. Okay, y'all go watch the game if you have to. All right, I get it. Keep us every now and then. If the game gets boring, sometime check in here and say hello. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. Harry B. Kaylin is killing them. All right, or Angel Reese is killing them. But so yeah, welcome to Monday Night Football. Let's talk Coach Warren Sapp. Coach Sapp is finally on the grounds, and his title is Senior Quality Control Analyst. What in the world does that mean? What in the world does Senior Quality Control Analyst mean? And what does that mean to Colorado's chances of putting more W's on that board? I asked the question like I was about to answer the question. I didn't really Google it. I didn't do the homework. All right. So I'm going to need you all to put it in the chat and help me out. I was not prepared for that. For that. I walked myself into that one. So y'all help me out. What in the world is a Senior Quality Control Analyst? What the heck does that mean? And why did we go from grad assistant to Senior Quality Control Analyst? But I will tell you this. Some of y'all probably knew this and some of y'all probably didn't. But I want to say a special shout out to my guy, Phil So Real. He's right there in the chat now. Thanks for showing up, Phil. He did send me some information for the NCAA and some rule changes that are actually going to affect what Coach Sapp could do on and off the field. So I wanted to go ahead and just touch on that real quick before we get deep into the show. And before we get too deep into the show, I want to let you know right on top of your screen now, I changed the direction. So now it'll be right here. All right. I wanted to show I wanted my little graphics and my artwork to show. So I switched it around, and now you can see at the bottom of the graphics it says Monday 7 p.m. and Friday 12 p.m. noon Eastern time. All right. I'm in New York, so we're Eastern time. So to call into the show though, you will hit or you will email jointlplive@gmail.com. The email right above your screen is right here. Is jointlplive@gmail.com. That is the email. And if you want to send me some money, it's $TLP Sports Club. That's my cash app. I thought I should get that in there too. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I just wanted to give you this information, guys, before we get into the show. And this is actually going to be this is really good for Coach Prime and what's about to happen with CU. So let's go over this right quick. All right, guys. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen, and we'll talk about this, and then we will move forward. And when you guys email me, you want to come onto the show, we can go ahead and start that real quick. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and pull this up on the screen. And I'm gonna have to get up for a second to put on my other screen. I forgot to put it on. Y'all give me a second. All right, here we go. This is actually really good news for us, for the Buff fans, and because we're getting Coach Sapp, and yep. Give me 1 second. I'm about to let me put this on the other screen there. All right. How y'all doing tonight? Is everybody well? KMS, what's up? KMS had to go because he had to watch the game. The tennis channel, what's up with you? John S. Garland, how you doing? Shirley Kimball, how you doing today? Hope all is well, guys. Happy belated Easter. So hope everybody had a great Easter weekend, especially for our Christian friends. If you ain't Christian, it's all good. We still respect you. You heard me. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So here we go. Let me go ahead and read this legislation real quick, and then you guys will understand why Coach Sapp is in good hands right now. Why the move that was made for Coach Sapp is really good. All right. So here we go. All right, so here we go. Please excuse my reading live. I don't have my translation while I'm doing this live. All right, so this is from Ross Dillinger. All right, sources: College Football Oversight Committee pushing to expand coaching role of all staff members. In many aspects, college athletics is steadily expanding. The college football playoff, for example, is moving from 4 to 12 teams. The 4 major conferences will grow next academic year by a combined 13 teams. League television contracts continue rising, coaching salaries soar, and the schedule itself is growing longer. Next up, coaching staff. The NCAA Oversight Committee is, everybody can hear me, right? Let me make sure, because I'm over here all reading and stuff, and like, I didn't even check, okay? We all good, guys? You guys can hear me? ICH, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. You guys can hear me, right? Anybody that's not too keen on that basketball game, y'all can hear me, right? I'm just gonna keep going. If I don't get anybody saying anything, I know you're multitasking right now, but hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm just gonna keep it going. All right, guys. All right. So if anybody can just say, "Yeah, man, you good on the audio." Keep going. All right, so here we go. Permitting all staff members. Hold on, let me start from the top. The NCAA Oversight Committee introduced a legislative proposal this month that would expand the abilities of a football supporting staff. permitting all staff members to provide players skill and technical coaching instruction both during practice and games. All right, so y'all got thumbs up. That means y'all can hear me loud and clear. Great. Thank you. The proposal introduced for a second straight year after failing to get approval last spring eliminates the policy limiting coaching instruction to only the NCAA's maximum of 11 countable coaches, the 10 assistants, and head coach. So y'all get what they're saying right there, right? So there is a proposal that's on the table that's going to give the other staff, the assistants, the ability to be able to provide skill and technical coaching instructions during practice and during the games. The proposal strictly maintains the number of off-campus recruiters to 11, but gives flexibility to head coaches to potentially designate any 10 staff members as countable coaches who are eligible to recruit off campus. The proposal is now in a 6-week socialization stage as members of the oversight committee receive feedback from respective conferences. The committee is scheduled to meet in mid-May to assess feedback and potentially adopt the legislation. Any adoption from the committee is subject to the approval of the D1 Council, the primary NCAA governing board that consists of 40 members from all 32 conferences. If the proposal is adopted, it will take effect either in time for summer training or the start of fall camp, said Craig Bull, the executive director of the American Football Coaches Association. The AFCA endorses the proposal 100%, said Bull, who sits on the oversight committee. This is probably the most common sense approach that he could make. He told that we could make. He told Yahoo Sports. For years, we've had analysts and quality control coaches who have had a desire to coach. I'm going to say that part one more time because this is what we're talking about tonight. This is probably the most common sense approach that we could make. He told Yahoo Sports. For years, we've had analysts and quality control coaches who have had a desire to coach. So much has changed with the landscape, with players now being compensated. To be concerned that you're going to have an assistant quarterbacks coach out there coaching is counterproductive. It's been a compliance nightmare. So with that information right there, that's just giving us the pretty much the go ahead to say that if this is adapted, then Coach Sapp is going to be able to coach on the field, because you all remember that Shermer could not coach. He couldn't be on the field. He could not provide on-field coaching. So if this is adapted, if this situation is if it goes forward, then we're going to be good. We're going to be getting Coach Sapp to coach. And then, like I asked you guys, if you guys are aware of the scenario, so Phil So Real, I appreciate you sending me that information. That's what I want to discuss tonight, because the one thing that I know for sure, the one thing that I did discuss in that video is that Coach Sapp is very serious. There's just something about Deion Sanders' friends. It's like, show me your friends and I'll tell you how far you're going to be or how far you are in life. Deion Sanders' friends are very serious people. You may catch them joking around. You may catch them saying, you know what I'm saying, just kind of being jovial and being kind of like, I guess, kind of young at heart. But when it comes to this here game of football, all I see is fire in these guys' eyes. And that brings me to something that I would like to say is that the thing that the detractors always try to put before us, or to kind of like shame people, is almost like the shame Coach Prime's situation. He's not a real coach. He doesn't know how to coach. He's a self-promoter that does not take the game seriously. But the way that he moves on the way that he moves with the young men in practices and what he has done in his coaching career speaks a whole nother language or says otherwise. And I want to share this with you before I bring anybody onto the panel tonight. Any detractor out there was a guy that was on Twitter that put out some message. He was saying something about Coach Prom's his only resume, the only thing that made him eligible to be a coach is the fact that he was famous. And I said, what? Famous? What you talking about? I'm like, Phil, two things can happen at once. He can be famous and he can have the resume also. Hey, Phil, I owe you another 5 cents. But yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? If you think about it, did you guys watch did you guys I'm gonna try to end this show early so we can all watch the game, okay? It's probably already in there. But but if you guys remember the interview that went viral about Coach Pro with Gilly and what $100 worth of $1 million worth of game. I'm sorry, $100. I'm shorting these guys like 999. Okay, thousand. All right. So, anyways, $1 million worth of games, right? $1 million worth of game on that interview where that went viral. That where Coach Prime was talking about Shador and Travis going no more than or no less than fourth round, and then well not fourth round or number 4 or whatever, right? Off the board. I'm all chopping this all up, right? And then he said, and let's not forget Shiloh, right? Shiloh's always like the stepchild in this. But in that same interview, Coach Prime was talking about his Pee-wee coaching days. And if any of y'all caught it, Coach Prime's resume is immaculate as a coach. He has an immaculate resume as a coach. In that interview, it was like they didn't really put too much focus on it, but even in the Pee Wee leagues, Coach Prime says we never lost a game when he was coaching the 13 to like 15-year-olds, or not 15-year-olds, but like when he was coaching from like 0 to whatever 13-year-olds. Okay, my memory is not coming in clear, but he was just telling us that even when he was coaching the team that wasn't like high school, prior to high school, they never lost either. So I'm like, wait a minute. He never lost in high school either. I mean, pre-high school, like middle school, he never lost. What kind of man is this? Who is this? Who are we dealing with? So he never lost, right? LSU can't stop them girls. Oh, great. So Kaylin is ready for those girls? Oh boy. Okay, so Kaylin's doing her thing. But yeah, but I'm like, if we look at it, okay, so if he never lost at the Pee Wee, he went to high school, even though it was class 6A or whatever you want to call it in Texas. It was not the highest Texas level, but I don't think you can help that, right? I think it's where you live at, something like that, right? So I don't think like Coach Prime, he was not the principal of the high school. It was just the high school where he was living, and he was able to coach there, right? He was what? Well, he was the coach, but he was the offensive coordinator, right? So if he goes to the high school, Shador is four years high school. In those 4 years, they win 3 state championships. And this is what I want to say. When people say, and when I told the guy on Twitter, when I told him that, this is what he said. He comes back and says, or somebody else came back and said, well, he only won at the lowest level in Texas. Like everywhere he goes, he only wins at the lower level. As if there was not other people there trying to win too. Because there are other people at those lower levels trying to also beat you. So you can't just say, but if he lost at those lower levels, guess what the conversation would be? He couldn't even win at the lower levels. So that would be the flip side of that conversation, right? But the fact that he won, he only won at the lower levels. And then I guess when they say lower levels, they're going to include Jackson State, which is HBCU, and then which is football championship subdivision, not FBS. So it's like he's winning at all the lower levels. He's only been at the FBS for 1 year. So, so I'll tell you this. If Coach Prime, or let me change that language to when Coach Prime wins the Natty as the first black or African American or African to win the Natty at the FBS level, then guess what? He would have won on every single level there is in sports. Every single level. Well, he would have to go to the NFL and win the Super Bowl to say every single level. But he's not going to the NFL, so forget about that. But he would have won on every single level. From Pee Wee, he never lost. High school, 3 state championships. College, it's like he went undefeated twice, won his conference, but he didn't win he didn't go to the title game. But if he wins at FBS, and he's like, this guy never loses. And it's like, it blows my mind to say that his resume is nothing. And that's not the conversation tonight, but I'm like, bro, what type of hateration do you have to be drinking that a winning coach can win? Like, he doesn't like it. So it's a win for us. This thing that you see on your screen, guys, it is a win for us. This legislation right here, if you're just joining the chat or if you're just joining the live, this legislation right here, according to sources, the NCAA is going to be changing the rules for specifically what Coach Warren Sapp is coming to see you for. Quality control, senior quality control analyst. Well, he's a senior, so I guess there are other quality control analysts on the team, but they're just not C. But he's like at the food chain of the quality control guys. He's the senior guy. He's up here, okay? Oh man, I would love for anybody that understands this. Hold on, let me check my email. Let me see if anybody knows. If any of my guys want to come on, maybe they know about this situation and they can help me out. All right, so let's see. I got a couple of guys that want to come onto the show that's skirting the girls playing in the Elite Eight. The men are on their way to Final Four. The girls are right behind them. So the whole quality control analyst, I think we had a quality control analyst person or people that were quality control, but they were not on-field guys or guys that were kind of like in the booth. Those guys were kind of like administrative guys. That's what I understood about the quality control analysts that we had before. So those guys were just kind of like making sure that things went well. They were, whatever Coach Prime needed to make sure that the team was in line with certain things, making sure that the team has certain things going on. So that's how I like stuff like, I would say, what's the word? Remember those 11 infractions that we had? Those 11 infractions, stuff like that. They will make sure that that will be like quality control, making sure that we're in compliant with the NCAA rules and stuff like that. But let me bring these guys on. Willie, I'm about to bring you on. You got your photo, you got your live video on. Just if you want to switch it before I come to you, because you got your live video on and you got those that your old man gray hair on your beard. So I'm coming to you. If you want to keep it like that, it's on you. All right. Willie, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you.
Hey, well, I was trying. Hey, man, good to see you. I was trying to take it off, but some kind of way you popped me right in. So what? So it is what it is right now. I'll change it later.
Well, whenever you're ready, just take it off, okay? If you can figure it out, just whenever you're ready. Let me go to Phil. Hey, Phil, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you calling in.
Not a problem, man. Good to see everybody. I hope everybody's doing well.
All is well. While Tennis Willie figures how to take his photo off the screen. What do you think about this quality? You sent me the information and we kind of like talked about it slightly. What do you think about this situation? Let me hear your thoughts on this.
So I think ultimately, if if the legislation is passed, I think that will be very beneficial to a lot of schools, but specifically to the conversation, I think it will be uber beneficial to Colorado, because typically the analyst position is kind of the person that helps in this situation, the defensive coordinator kind of review film and say, okay, on third down in long, they like to run these type of plays, or if the offensive line is lined up in these kind of splits, they're going to be running the ball this way or they're going to be passing the ball that way. So it's a lot of film and stat type stuff. And I don't
Mm,
know if that's something that Coach Sapp, is trying to come here for. Because I mean, let's be honest, most guys at that level don't want to come in and do the dirty work, you know what I'm saying, that
hmm
analysts would do. So I think him being able to actually coach is going to be very beneficial. I think the information and knowledge that he has, the wisdom that he has playing throughout the years will help. I don't know how quote unquote good of a coach he is. Like, I don't know how well he can translate what he's been able to do to be successful to those kids.
mm,
That's remained to be seen. But I think just having him out there is going to be very beneficial.
mm. What are your thoughts, Willie? What are your thoughts on this whole rule change?
Well, one of the reasons that they're analysts, okay, is the fact that they've either played the game or they've coached the game, or maybe they've done both. And so I think once this proposal has been approved, and I believe that it will, it allow anybody that they bring on and give them a title of analyst, they bring along all of the other skills. So you're not just an analyst. They'll bring you there to do that, but they have like Coach Sapp, he comes in there. Well, you know he was a dog, so he has all these other attributes you know, that they bring to the table. So what that's going to do, that's going to play in the favor of all of the coaches. They will bring on players that have they'll give them a title as an analyst or something like that. But they have so many other attributes that they bring as that analyst. So now I believe they will be able to utilize them more in one role. And actually, and somebody in the chat mentioned it. Well, I mean, they got to pay them, and they got to pay under this proposal. They bring them under that auspices there. Then they don't have to pay them anymore, but they could utilize the skills that the guys already have. And I think that's going to probably be how it's going to work in our favor.
So,
Make sense?
yeah, yeah. So, Phil, what exactly he was coming in as a grad assistant, right? And then and
Originally,
then
yeah.
and then this originally as a grad assistant. Why do you think that they made the move to analyst? And you know what I'm saying? Because if he was coming in as what okay, so we're talking about the difference between him coming in as a regular coach
hmm
and the pushback that we talked about because of his checkered past, right? What is the
hmm
difference between the pushback that he would get as an analyst? Would there be any, or would it be
So,
less because he's an analyst? Like, what is that about?
I mean, I think regardless of what position he had, there's going to be pushback just because of his past, as you mentioned. But if he were a grad assistant or GA, he would basically get a stipend, so he wouldn't be paid by the university. He would just get a stipend to help further his collegiate learning, to support his degree in whatever it is he'd be going for with his master's. But coming in as an analyst, he is an actual employee of the university, and he's a part of the official coaching staff. So my understanding is it's just a difference between how he's getting, excuse me, who or how he's being paid, or who's paying him and how he's being paid. And also with the grad assistants, they could actually have coaching time with the players during practice as well as at games, where the analysts couldn't. Now with this new change, the analysts will have access to actually coach the players as well.
So Willie, so what do you think changed in house? Because remember the what was the guy name? I forget the guy's name that was the was he was he somebody like that was with CU? Someone with CU was like we're not, we haven't entertained Coach Sapp coming on to the staff. I forget his name, but
Mhm.
y'all remember that, right?
I do.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Okay.
who was that guy? What was his position?
Was
Do y'all
it
remember?
was it the was it the young black guy? Was he a little
Mm-mm.
bit younger or what?
No, it's not a young black guy. There was somebody who had a
I
I
think
forget what.
I can't
But
remember his
anyways,
name, but I think I know
okay, so I
who
can't
you're
remember his
talking
name,
about.
but what do you think, Willie? What do you think took place? Because the idea of if we pay him as a staffer, then the organizations that were, coming after them will probably be coming after them. But what do you think happened in house for that to change like overnight from grad assistant to quality control analyst?
Well, let's take the pay thing out of it for right now. Let's say
You
okay.
can't take it out
Let,
of it.
yeah, well, yeah, you can. Yes, you can because based on
Okay,
what I'm getting ready to say.
let me hear what you got to
Listen to
say
what
when
I'm
you say
saying.
take it out. Okay, let me
Okay,
hear you.
this is why I say for all practical reasons, take the pay thing out of it. Look at the people that Coach Prime is bringing in. These are highly skilled ex
No, no,
players.
no,
A
no. I think
lot
you're
of them.
missing the question. I think you're missing the question. That's not the
No, I
question.
understand.
The
Okay,
question
great.
is the legality. We're talking about legality. I'm not talking about how great Coach Prime is doing. I'm talking about the legalities of these people, the organizations that were raising I don't HE double hockey stick or whatever, right? The organizations that wanted to raise questions about his, I guess, his presence on the team, right? Remember what the person said in that interview? It was that people were raising questions, right, because of his stature. So what do you think changed in house for them now to say, well, if we pay him, because if he gets paid, then that means he's on staff. But remember, grad assistant was a whole nother thing. So what do you think happened in house for them to say, for them to feel comfortable to bring him on staff, but not as a actual coach?
Okay, so when they first said that he was coming as a grad assistant, right?
When
He
he
could
announced
still
it, he
probably
said grad
he could
assistant. Yeah.
still yeah, he could still probably be a grad assistant with a title. Does that make sense? Grad assistant, and he's not getting paid by the school, but his title on the field would be senior control analyst.
That's not how
That
that
puts
works though.
that puts a whole. I don't know. I don't know if it sounds like it makes sense to me
But
because
that's not
that
how
would
that
be the
works
only
though.
way. Listen up. That would be the only way they could utilize him the way they want to utilize him. You see what I'm saying? For
Oh
all
no,
of his
no, but
skill
are
specifications.
you suggesting that he's coming in as a grad assistant, but they put a spin on it as senior control analyst? Is that what you're saying?
No, they just gave him a title. They didn't put a spin on it. They just gave him a title, which gives him a little bit more responsibility.
But that's not the same thing, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Big companies do that. They'll bring a guy in. This is your initial responsibility. So we're gonna give you a title to cover all of this stuff that we need you to do.
But that's not how that
It,
works in college football though.
it,
Like
it because
if he's coming in as a grad assistant, there are certain parameters that have to be met for him to even qualify as a grad assistant. So unless he's going to actually be going to school at CU, unless he's actually going to be receiving a stipend instead of an actual salary from CU, then he is a senior quality analyst or whatever the terminology is. He is not a grad assistant with a title.
Right. So
you're
that's what I was
running
thinking.
this
He's not a.
thing, but see, go ahead. They're running it as a business, though. You see, that's how businesses run. If they're doing the program, if it's a business, college football is a business. Even the situation on when it comes to positions and who gets this and who gets this, they have to run it as a business. To me, that seems like that would make a lot more business sense, whether they do it that way or not.
Oh,
But since there was some pushback uh, at first, with this, so to get him in the building, to get him in, okay, you come in as a grad assistant, but we're gonna give you this title. He's still a grad assistant. I guarantee you, he's still under the auspices of a grad assistant, but a grad assistant with the title. That'd
only
be the
time will
only
tell
reason
then.
I see the
Only time will
changes.
tell then. I will grant you that, but I don't think that's the case. But I would allow space to say, hey, they haven't officially said if he's coming in as a grad assistant with a title. I've never seen it before, but the way Dion is doing things are very different. So I will allow that latitude for you to be right.
But that's what I'm saying.
So
They're not going to tell you these things. Prime don't tell us everything on how they
But
do it and why they do it.
if
You know,
he's a
and
state employee, like that has to be reported. Like certain states, you can go on the website and you can look up any and every state employee. So if he
right.
if he's not a if he in fact is not a grad assistant, then he's going to have to get a salary from the university, and they will have to report that to the state.
You're right on that. You're probably right if that's the legality of it. Yeah.
It is.
So
It
yeah, so that's
is.
what
But
Peter Investor is saying. Also, he's saying one is how they pay you salary, and the other is a ranking or a title or title. So that I think that that's pretty much
mm,
what y'all are saying is that.
yeah.
So Willie's saying that he could have a ranking or a title, but if the ranking is if it's a title, then somebody is going to make it. Somebody's going to have to do the research or find out whether he's on payroll, and that's not coming from Coach Prime. Like Coach Prime doesn't have to make no announcement that he's coming from payroll or not or anything like that.
E-
But
Everybody has a
if we find
title.
out that he's on payroll,
Yeah.
then that means that he's an employee, right?
Now, what do you guys think about this? Check this out.
Well, hold on.
Um,
Before you ask another question, I want to get Phil's thoughts on
yeah,
what do you think happened overnight for that. If let's just say he is an employee, what do you
Hmm.
think happened overnight for that for that to be even okay to do?
I
What are your
mean, I
thoughts on
think
that?
that mean, and I think that means they had some really good lawyers in the room when that conversation was had. I think they had to have a lot of confidence from Warren Sapp that whatever happened in the past, it was a one time thing. It'll never happen again. There had to be a lot of reassurances that Warren Sapp gave to the university, as well as giving to Dion, because I know they're good friends, and I know friends look out for each other. But I don't think Dion is the type of person that would stick his neck out on a level like this just to try to rehabilitate somebody. Maybe he would put in a good word for him to go somewhere else, but to bring him under his wing, I think Warren Sapp had to give a lot of reassurances to people that the past is the past and we moving forward. And then the university had to feel comfortable with this decision, knowing that there was going to be some backlash because of the nature of his transgressions.
All right, so let's bring Wild Dog onto the show. Maybe he can give us his thoughts on that as well. Wild Dog. I'm sorry, Wild Dog. Welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you. You might have to unmute Wild Dog. He wasn't ready.
Oh, thank you. Blessings, blessings. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
All right, man. So let's bring you in. Bring you coming in hot, brother. You coming in hot. So the what's on the table right now is the fact that we're switching from quality control analyst, which could be a salary job, and if it's a salary job, that means he's employed by the school and he's going to be on that coaching staff. And if that's the case, then why not do the defensive coach as opposed to the quality control? Does it not carry the same kind of weight that the detractors, or not detractors, but that the organizations, I'm sorry, okay, organizations, please forgive me for saying detractors, the organizations that were concerned, is it going to keep them at bay if he has a lesser role? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Harry, my thoughts, my opinion is that was all bark and no bite. And then Coach Prime and them played it out in the media, and it fell flat. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. If the media was going to
I
take
would
it and run
definitely
with
say
it, they
that.
would have already taken it
Very
and ran with
W.
it.
That was very
That's just my
W.
opinion. You know, that's just my opinion. If they were going to take it and run with it, they would have been done taking it and run with it. It fell flat. No, it's like it's not that no one cares; it's that it's not going anywhere. And then,
I
Do
in
don't
you
my
understand.
do
opinion,
you believe that's what it is?
yeah.
I don't
And
understand what you're saying.
well, I said it before when we've met up, is that this it was all tested out, fleshed out in the media. Even we responded to it, but even we're not upset or holding it. We're not holding him to the fire on it. We're not saying, "What are you doing? Why are you bringing on Sapp?" We're like, "Are there any concerns?" Because we're a goal for him to be on, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Everybody wants this for Sapp. Everybody wants this for CU, and anything that might flare up is just going to go nowhere. It's fizzled out already. If it was going to have any bite or traction, it would have had it. So
If
that's why you
what
kind of put things out in the media. You test it out to see where it may go. And there are
if
probably still
what
some people
I'm not
uneasy
I'm
about
not
it for any multiple reasons. But yeah, everything is fine as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not getting exactly what you're saying. Can you explain a little bit further? You said it doesn't carry what doesn't carry any bite, dog.
They're concerned about his history and concerned about
Oh,
him moving forward. That played
oh,
out in the media already.
okay.
We helped
I got
play it
So,
out. We were part of the process. We helped play it out
I got you, brother.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
because we
we did
discussed
on
this
this channel.
before.
We did have
Yeah,
an extensive conversation about that, and that's why I'm bringing it up. That's why I'm like, well, well, the question then the question becomes if it's fizzled out, which I don't think it is. I don't want this to be where my channel is causing any. I don't want to cause harm, right? Because if we're saying it's fizzled out, we're kind of diminishing the idea, what's the gravity of it. You feel me? What I'm saying? Like I don't want to just say it fizzled out. I feel like there is an understanding. They had conversations, and they feel like this is the best course of action to take. But for us to say it fizzled out, it didn't have no bite. That's a little demeaning from my perspective. It's a little demeaning because it's like because the concerns were real. It wasn't something that
yeah,
was just kind of like
I,
yeah, and
go
we're
ahead.
addressing it again, Harry. But it's like, but what I mean about no bite is like I'm not trying to pretend like it didn't happen. I'm trying to wipe his history clean. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so it's a fine line to walk, and I agree with you there. But I'm just saying, if anybody was going to be pulling their hair out and screaming about it, what I'm saying is they have had the opportunity for the
right.
last 6 months to do so.
The outrage isn't there. People know
You
about the
understand what I'm
story.
saying?
People have a
The
feeling about
opportunity
it.
for the opportunity for everybody to air out their grievances inside or outside the organization. They've had a good 6 months or so to do so, but have they? And all I'm saying is that they haven't, because it
Yeah,
is what it is.
So
yeah,
Wilder,
I agree.
based on your thinking, right, or based on your opinion, then why not bring him in like you were bringing him in originally? Why bring him in as a quality control analyst as opposed to having a position job as one of the coaches on that defense?
Well, I mean, just like in the chat, I mean, Dancy was a head coach, right? And then he just, proved himself capable. So when a position became available, he got promoted. This is just Power Five ball. Even though you're Warren Sapp with a gold jacket, you're gonna have to earn your stripes. That's just the nature of Power Five ball at this level. You had the head coach at FAMU go take what, an assistant, or what was the position he took?
A position coach. He's the
Yeah,
running
Position
backs
I mean,
coach.
coach.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
of the running backs, I think. Yeah.
I mean, he's like SWAC coach of the year, proven. I mean, it is what it is. Like people said, oh, that's FCS, this is FBS. Welcome to FBS. It's different over here. So I mean, there's clear examples outside of CU where even highly qualified professionals have to come in, and earn their stripes.
Hey,
They're
but
respected,
Harry,
but they have to earn their stripes.
but to answer your question specifically, I think I think the coaching staff for Dion is projecting and seeing that they're about to make that change with the rule with the coaching staff because um, they're about to run it more like the NFL. So you're going to have your head coach and then 10 other coaches that are able to go out and actually do recruiting. And then the rest of your coaches are coaches that can't do that so they can kind of focus more on the team specifically. So I think he's just forecasting where college football is going because I think a lot of people can agree that he has a good pulse. He has his hand on the pulse of where college football is going. So by adding him on the coaching staff as an actual analyst, that allows him to be on the field and coach the guys. So I think it's just helping out the coaching staff more than anything. And I think it's the right decision to do it this way, actually.
And
And
wouldn't that make him an assistant coach, Harry, in a sense, without the title? But wouldn't that make him an assistant coach, an assistant on the field as a coach?
But that's not the same thing as a
Well,
grad assistant.
well,
That
in my opinion now, and backing up what you were saying, Phil, earlier, I feel like he's been a grad assistant on paper already. Like
mm-hmm.
what's being released to us isn't exactly real time. I believe he's been a grad assistant on paper for some time now, and that likely he's still a grad assistant on paper right now, but that's not his title on his door because the plan is for him to step into the role, the title that he's been given on his door. But that may not necessarily be what's on paper. It's
But
all a game too.
I just want to point out though, I put it in the chat specifically that shows up for the panel, but on the CU website for the coaching staff, it specifically says grad assistant and then what position or what side of the ball. And then as far as the analyst, it tells you specifically what type of analyst they are. So when Warren Sapp's photo is uploaded to the website, whenever they're able to do that, we'll see his specific title and know exactly what he is, whether he's a grad assistant, quote unquote, with a title, or if he's an actual quality control analyst for the team.
Yeah, because when you bring somebody on, and you already know that when you bring Warren Sapp on, ain't nobody calling him a grad assistant. We all know it's going to be Coach Sapp. So you lay down a fast track for somebody like him, but still earn him earning his stripes. So the school has their process. You have to follow that process. So I'm like that's why I feel like he was brought on as a QA right on immediately. Probably right after he got his degree and everything. The ball was rolling. Everything was going in motion already.
Can,
You
can
know.
I pose a can I pose a question to the panel, Harry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you think the conversation was like between Dion, Warren Sapp, and the actual defensive line coach? Like, what do you think the chain of command is? Not the what we present to the team, but like behind closed doors when we talking to Coach Prime and we talking about what we want this defensive line to look like. What is the actual chain of command on that defensive line? Now that you bring it Sapp in.
Well, who's the defensive lines coach?
Hold on. I got the team pulled
Yeah,
up real quick.
yeah.
So I don't know that there's going to be any kind of rift. To tell you the truth, I don't think there's going to be any rift, and there's no power struggle
Yeah.
because my assessment of when Coach Sapp comes in and that introduction that he gave, that was the most humble I've ever seen Warren Sapp. That was the
Yes,
most.
sir.
I'm here to just assist. I'm here to get my process, get all this crap behind me, and get going. I'm ready to work. Is the essence of what I felt like his introduction was. Like he said 2 words and was out, and I'm like,
Right. I
wow,
agree with you. But
you
but
know.
my question is, what is that? What do you think the chain of command is? Do you think what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
Like
mean,
how much
But
power is
they're
his
not
name
gonna
gonna
have a
but
have?
defensive lines coach and then say and then you don't need to have a conversation. There's no conversation that needs to be had.
And then
Because you
Phil,
gotta
what? Oh, and then Phil, what we do know is that Coach Prime reported, well, at least at the time, Sal, who was over the defensive line, that him and Sapp were like two peas in a pod, basically, right? So whether Sal is retires or comes on or not, or somebody else fills in, that still holds true. That Sapp already established his relationship with Prime, with the existing defensive line coach at the time. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody else is designated or whatever like that, or interim or whatever the case might end up being, you know, that still holds true. It's not really so much, you know, what Sapp has to say or prove to whoever's over the position coach over the defensive line, as it is, you know, Sapp was here. You
And I
know,
just want to be clear. That wasn't me like trying to be petty or like start some mess.
no, no,
I'm
no,
I'm
That's good
actually
question.
wondering like for me, you got to like Dion say he got a gold jacket that he didn't buy. You know what I'm saying? So like, what would that interaction be like? So if you're saying that he's already come out and said they're like two peas in a pod, then I think that's gonna be great because you need your coaching staff to have that one band one sound kind of mentality. And it seemed like some of the issues that Colorado had last year is that the coaching staff wasn't always on the same page here and there.
yeah.
So if that's the case, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
And then
No,
and
but
then
Well,
Phil
and I,
come on,
and then Phil.
that was not the defensive lines coach. He was he was the ends defensive end. He was a DE.
It has D tackle. It has D tackle on the website
D
right now, right
tackle.
here.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So and I think it's a great hire, man. Look at what Sapp brings to the table, man. Look at what he brings to the team. Everybody's going to respect that because he not only just got out there and did it or talked it, the man proved it, and so he brings that kind of attitude. So I don't think it's going to be like any riff or oh well, well I'm the head coach, you do what I say. I don't think it's going to be anything like that this year. I think they
No,
all respect Sapp. What he brings to the table, dude, it's going and those kids are going to respect it. I believe this is me, and I believe it's going to be a total buy-in. Look at who Prime is bringing in. He's bringing in good people. He's bringing in sound people. If they have any kind of riff, Harry, I'd be surprised. I would really be surprised because
Yeah,
the guys
I
that
don't
they
think
have
that
on
there's
them,
going to be any rift this year. I don't.
that's what I
now
don't think it is either. I don't think it is either. But
now
I'm
there
just
could
saying.
now there could be little bubbles because I'd like to remind BWB bandwagon Buff Nation that Warren Sapp started out as a tight end, so he knows. I know he's the defensive juggernaut, and everybody likes to forget things, but he was a full on, state ranked, highly recruited tight end, and then he was
Mhm.
converted, to defensive tackle. So he knows the offensive side of the ball, you know what I'm saying? And that tight end room is whatever. So it's like, how we say stay in your lane, but we have to respect utility players, and we have to respect coaches that have been utility players. We have to respect coaches that have had multiple different jobs. Like you come up in your career, like my lineman's coach was actually a quarterback and was a quarterback coach for many years, and then he took over for the offensive line because that's what it was needed.
Hmm.
Yeah, you
So you
see
have
that
to
a lot.
respect
You
players
see
and
that a lot.
What
coaches.
do you mean bubble? What do you mean bubble though?
Warren Sapp is not going to hold his tongue. He'll come respectively, but people have to like if it's something dealing with the offense or especially with tight ends, I can see him saying, "Hey, I have something to contribute," and maybe someone saying, "Oh, the defense is over there." I mean, so I'm gonna be straight up about there could be not no riffs, but little sparkly bubbles on some things like that.
Just common issues that happen between people. You get a little bit mad at practice, might say some words. 20 minutes later, y'all dap it up. We
Yeah,
cool.
I
We
would
gonna go eat chicken
1000%
or whatever.
disagree with you guys on that. I'll push back on that. I
But it's
would like
human nature,
respectfully
though.
push. No, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's not human nature, but this is what I'm seeing from Coach Sapp. Coach Sapp is on a journey to being a head coach in college football. All right, and then maybe wherever that takes him. but I see this in him where I feel like Coach Sapp is not here to ruffle any feathers. I don't see anywhere in his demeanor, anywhere around his aura, that he's the type of person who's coming in here to push his weight in that gold jacket. I feel like he put the gold jacket in storage or wherever he got it, in a Chinese laundromat somewhere. He got it locked down, and he's not worried about that gold jacket. I feel like 1,000% in my spirit that Coach Sapp is here to protect Prime. And in protecting Prime, there ain't going to be no, oh, I got a gold jacket. Let me tell you about being a tight end. I was a tight end before. You're not doing your job. I got to push back on that because I don't see it at all. Not in his demeanor. I feel like that dude is coming in here.
Yeah, I'm not saying it. Yeah, anything from Sapp, but like Phil was saying, it's human nature. You know, Sapp could be 100%, but you know, like Phil was saying last year, you know, the coaches sometimes wasn't jiving. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that happens. Sapp could be 100% and not be out of line at all, but someone could, you know, take it some kind of way in the moment. You know, I don't see any major or minor issues, but there could be a little bit of, you know, rubbing the wrong way possibly. Even with envy and jealousy of his stature coming in, you know, it's possible. Because you asked the question, so we're talking about possibilities, and I was just giving one scenario where he might give, you know, real quick a tight end a little suggestion on his, you know, feet technique or something like that, and then, you know, a position coach might take it the wrong way. But right now, what is that, Bartoloni?
Yeah.
Brett Bartoloni?
Yeah.
What about him?
So I mean, it's possible, but even then, I would be like, I'm sure Bartoloni would be like, oh, what's that? Oh, you know, this. Oh, thank you. But I mean, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Because again, even Coach Prime knows both sides of the ball, and he's saying that he's got to be. Him and his mentors agree that 100% he's got to be more involved, a little bit shorter rope, more involved. You know, with the coaches, so the dynamic of everything is going to change. You know, so
I mean,
yeah,
I would have to say we have to wait and see. But like I said, well, from what I see, I totally say I don't see what we got last year happening. What we got last year happening, I feel like there was a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and it was just like, guys were more advantageous for where they wanted to be as opposed to being in Colorado. I think people were more focused on where they were going as opposed to where their feet was. You see what I'm saying? Guys' feet were not planted in Colorado. We lost almost all the damn coaches. The coordinator, the DC, the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator. We lost what? 3 other coaches, position coaches. Like, was it a conversation?
all the more reason I'm with you that there's going to be more proper alignment.
Yeah,
that's what
moving forward. Moving forward. Yeah, moving forward.
I don't think Coach Prime did not answer this conversation. He didn't answer that conversation like he's answering the conversations about who was needed on the offensive line, the defensive line, and we have to understand that if we're having this conversation, then that was something that they've already talked about. If we're talking about it, like, I don't know that Coach Prime is like one step behind anything. I think he's always 10 steps ahead of everything. Because if he had that issue last year, the people that are around him and what I'm feeling from the people that are around him, even if you see the well-off media video, like Peter Investor is saying, like if you see the well-off media videos, do you see like Coach Livingston, like when he's there and he's looking at Coach Prime, like, wow, this guy is, you know, he's really got command of this team. When Coach was really getting into those guys, you can see it in Livingston's eyes, like Coach got a grip on these teams. And I feel like the guys that he's surrounding himself with, even when we talked about how Coach Prime was going to be more hands-on this year, I feel like bringing in Sapp is coming on as a protector, not a detractor.
Let me say this, Harry. Let me say this. Now I'm gonna give you some pushback on your pushback. Now,
that's fine.
how many how many times,
But
we've got some
do you
discussion on
understand my
this show.
pushback?
I
Do you
do.
understand
Yeah,
my
I do. I
pushback
do
before you
understand it.
push back? Okay, all right,
Yeah, I
I'm just
understand.
trying to make
Yes, sir.
sure, Willie.
That's
I'm
what
just
I'm
trying to make
saying.
sure, Willie. All right, go ahead, Willie. Go ahead.
What I'm
Oh
saying?
God,
See,
go
that's what I'm
ahead.
saying.
Push
We
back
have,
on my
we have,
pushback. Go ahead.
we have little bubbles amongst ourselves. If it gets out of hand, what do you say? This is my show. You put us all back in line, right? So the only thing I'm saying, and I think I understand what saying. They're saying, maybe a little bubble here, and because they may have a little disagreement. We have disagreements on this show all the time, but we don't take it to another level, don't we? Remember when you did that little program and everybody, and it was like we didn't agree with it, but it said, look, hey, this is where we are. So sometimes, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. Sometimes you might, but with the group that we have here, or what the group that CU has coming in, it's going to be very little. It's going to be very little. Just like our show, we have people.
So
We
Willie,
all don't agree.
let me say this, Willie. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be kumbaya all season. I'm not saying they're going to be holding hands and skipping in the loo. I'm not saying that. They're grown alpha males in a room. Obviously, yeah, they're going to argue. They're going to have their spats, and yeah, they're going to have all of that. But
We're
I'm
not
talking about when
a kumbaya moment here. You don't want to have a kumbaya moment.
No. I'm saying there ain't gonna be no. I'm not saying there's gonna be kumbaya. I'm just saying
Hey, we had
they're
we,
not
we
gonna
had
be.
we had a kumbaya moment at the end of last show.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, on Friday. On Friday, you guys were pouring into my life on Friday, so that was a kumbaya. So
we can so we can agree to disagree and make it for a great show and support Harry B. But we ain't tripping.
Yeah.
And like Warren Sapp said, yeah. Yeah, like and Warren Sapp said, I love what he said, pouring a foundation. And so for me personally, nothing against Shermer, nothing against Livingston, but for the culture, the CU football culture, key moves for Coach Prime on the offensive side was getting Phillips in.
Yeah.
Hey, why your audio buzzing like that?
It's buzzing? Hold on.
Yeah, your audio's coming in with this feedback, this like weird feedback.
Yeah, just turn it down just a little bit.
I got noticed.
Just turn the volume. Yeah, it's like it has a little buzz in it.
Maybe I'll come back in because I haven't had any problem lately. I mean, I haven't had any problem.
Yeah,
it sounds better like that. But I think it's like when you're projecting a little lot, then the buzzing comes in. It's that's what it seems like. But when you would just
I have my headphones on. On. But
yeah, I mean you're fine now. You're fine now. But I think this is so. At the end of the day, I don't know if. Okay, so y'all were saying. So Wild Dog, you were saying earlier that if Coach Sapp is coming in, so are we saying that Dancy took the job that Coach Sapp was gonna take or was gonna have? Is that were you saying? Was you suggesting that earlier?
Nah, I mean, it's not like waiting in line, but he's got to earn his stripes. But I feel like he's going to be fast tracked.
Stripes with Coach Prime, though?
With the organization, with Rick George.
What does with Coach Prime though? What is the organization? You think Coach Prime is like is on some type of leash with the organization?
I wouldn't call it a leash, but I mean it's Power 5 football. I mean, Coach Prime earned his stripes as well. So, and then Sapp said it himself. I'm ready to come in, do whatever I got to do from the bottom up. So it was understood with Sapp.
But I don't know that.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you say that Coach Prime doesn't have 1,000% control of that team. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing too. But I think he's right though. I don't think I'm not saying that Dean don't have at least like 90%, but I don't think he has complete control of the program.
Right, because you asked the question, why is he coming in as this or that and not coming in as a full on? Because I mean, there's a procedure and a process, and there's still a chain of command. And then in the coaching culture, it's best for Sapp that he comes in from the bottom, even if he is fast track. It's better for his career that he comes in from the bottom and works his way up,
I mean, I get
even if it's
that part,
fast
but
track.
I'm like,
Yeah,
when y'all start saying like he has to prove himself or he has to, earn his stripes, the, the school is concerned about coaches earning their stripes. If Coach Prime says, I
You,
want this guy, then they can come in and say, well, he's not proven on what grounds?
I'll say this. He may not have to prove himself with within the program at CU, but he will have to prove himself if he wants to separate from Dion and let's say maybe go to a Miami and eventually coach. So I think there is a certain level of prove it that's going to have to happen for Sapp to be able to get to that next level if his desire is to be a head coach, defensive coordinator, whatever the case may be. So there is a
But
certain level of
from
improvement,
Rick
just not
George,
within the
from
no. I'm saying no, not within the program, but I'm saying outside. If he wants to branch out from CU and from under Dion's umbrella, he has to be able to prove that he can get the job done. So other guys will want to bring him into the program because Prime is 101. Warren
mm,
Sapp, he don't have
I
that
get
same
what you're
pull.
saying. I get what you're saying, and I agree because I feel like Coach Sapp. Like I don't know if you guys look at how much weight Coach Sapp has lost. Like did y'all first of all look
Yeah,
at his size, his face,
Yeah.
right? From the,
yeah.
from when he retired to to when he was just doing his thing. I think sometime on television and stuff like that. To now, something transpired. That guy's looking like a skinny guy, and I don't recognize his face. But from
Yeah.
that, I see focus from the weight loss and everything that I'm seeing a man that's on a mission, and I'm seeing focus. Like he
he's
is
rejuvenated.
laser
He's
focused.
rejuvenated, Harry B. This opportunity has rejuvenated him
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
because he's been working with youth, and this is the opportunity to continue to do what he's been doing and do more, contribute more. He's rejuvenated, literally,
yeah,
mind, body, and spirit. He's rejuvenated.
he is. That's a good point. Like he's definitely like it's almost like if you think about it, right? It's like almost somebody put the fire and they come on the other side and they see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and they're willing to take every full advantage of that little bit of light that they see at the end of the tunnel. And that guy is bouncing up. I don't know if y'all see it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'm looking at it, I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm like, Prom has really, he's really going to bat for his guy, and when I hear Coach Sapp talk, I'm like, something is up in Boulder, like that's a happy brother right now. Like that dude is just happy to just be, what I'm saying, given the opportunity to just get his coaching career started. Like,
Harry, can I ask this question though? Do you think
yes, sir.
that, or have you thought about maybe the reason why Sap coming in the way he did looks like he's so serious is because the way Prime does it is a little bit more flashy, a little bit more pizzazz, where Sap just came in like, hey, I'm just coming in to work, boom, left it at that, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, do you think maybe the contrasting styles is what made it more evident that he seemed more serious? Or do you think he just ready to come in and work?
I think he already knew how flashy Coach Prime is. He's always known that from the time when they were
Hmm.
in that strip club, from the time where they met at that strip club, you know what I'm saying, and seeing those
Yeah,
ladies,
yeah.
you know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
Sapp says
From
since he
that
was
time,
12,
I'm,
so
Yeah.
I'm sure, I'm sure with Coach Prime because his kid said he's cheap. So I don't know how many bills he was throwing in that strip club. He was probably throwing some change, probably some nickels and dimes in that in that strip club because it's so cheap. But you know
or
what I'm saying?
spending
That's a
somebody else's
different story.
money, right?
Right, or spending somebody else's money. But I'm sure that Prime, like that Sapp already knew, Coach Sapp already knew how flashy Coach Prime is. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing something that first of all, I've already told you about Livingston, how my mentality about Livingston has already changed just because of that one little thing, that one little phrase that he said. He's about to take their talent and make it work for the team. From that, my mind has changed. And then for me to see Sapp, who's like he can command a room. Sapp is like prime, where he walks into a room and he takes over. For him to come and he's in that room with Prime and he says 2 words and he's out of there. That I don't know. You guys maybe have a different perspective on this, but for me, it just made and then for me to see how much weight he has lost. Like, have y'all been keeping track of Sapp? And have y'all seen how much weight he gained from the time that he retired to like maybe last year? And then
Still about
see
as
to
big as
see
Jason
now that
Whitlock.
Yeah.
right. So now, like he had a couple of interviews with Whitlock and he was looking much bigger. But then he gets the boulder and he's a whole new guy. His face is skinny, like his shirt is loose.
He
And
said
He
he's
I'm
hit
gonna
that
be
like,
track,
riding his bike. He said he's gonna be riding his bike
and
to
yeah.
practice. So that's gonna
yeah, he
help.
been hitting that. He been hitting that treadmill, Harry, and working on his technique, so he don't just have to talk it. He can show it.
And
So he's
right.
gonna
you
have
know
to get
what?
in shape so he can physically demonstrate and physically go 1-on-1 to help his players, help the players.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's important that we say that. And it's important that we bring that out. You know, I don't want to focus too much on his past and we can leave that alone. But I just wanted to now, I want to step inside of his future. I want to step in where he's going. And when you see somebody who disciplines themselves at that level to where he has lost all that weight, that kind of discipline is almost reminiscent of his playing days, how disciplined that he was, and to be able to get the type of level that he played on to get that gold jacket. Like Coach Prime said, he didn't buy that gold jacket. If you were alive, if you saw Warren Sapp play the game, he played at a level that was highly disciplined, and it is reminiscent. His time now at CU is reminiscent of the discipline that he had when he was playing, and that's if that doesn't excite you as a CU Buff fan to let you know that you're getting an assistant who could be a coach on the sidelines like this. I don't know, man.
You know what I
I
think? And also, to add to what you're saying, man, I think the CU defense, they would do themselves a great injustice if they don't go and watch some film on Warren Sapp, how he played and when he played. If you don't go watch any video on this guy, you're not interested in getting anything that he's telling you because not only can he teach you technique, teach you how to do it, he will prove to you how it's done. So man, it would be a great advantage. Just go watch some video. Go watch him play.
Hey, Willie, it's easy because there's like 3 or 4 documentaries on Sap. So all you gotta do is pick one.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
And he's
man.
been on championship teams, so you can find it.
Yeah.
yeah. All you gotta do is pick one and see 2 hours of his highlights. you know.
Hey,
nah,
I
but
gotta I gotta
Sapp
jump
was the
off,
killer.
guys. I gotta jump off,
I
guys.
felt
I just want to say, man, hope y'all have a good night. I'm gonna be checking in the morning, seeing how y'all finish the show. Hope y'all have a good night.
for sure, man.
Good hearing
I
from you,
wanted to
my
catch
brother. Good hearing from you.
I wanted to catch a little bit of the game, so we're not gonna go all night tonight. But I'm glad that you were on, Phil. Thank you for bringing some clarity to the show. Um, but yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm excited that Coach Sapp is finally here. However long it took, and I think it is also indicative of the time that it took is indicative of how he ended up not being just a grad assistant, because I think that there were conversations going on because Sapp himself said grad assistant, and, and then he finally lands and he says analyst. So there are conversations. I'm happy for the conversation that they had, and I want to say this. All right, I want to say salute to the organizations that are out there that are advocating for victims and for everyone. Because if I was a victim of something, I would want there to be some organization out there that advocates for me. Just like being black and then saying, "Hey, man, I want somebody to look out for my best interest for me to get into college." I'm sure I got to UNC Greensboro because of affirmative action, because it was a predominantly white school. So these organizations that are out there, even though we see an organization coming for somebody that you support, you think that they're the enemy, but they're only the enemy until you need those type of organizations. So I just want to say salute
All
to
right.
all of those organizations, and then I want to transition that to say salute to Coach Sapp. Salute, my guy. You're
Yeah.
coming in to see you with a vengeance. I'm seeing it. You ain't had to say too many words for me to even spiritually discern that you are on a whole nother level of thinking right now. It didn't take me that long. I know somebody asked me in the video, like, Harry B, you got all of that out of that little speech that he gave? I said, yeah, because
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
I think I go to the spirit realm and I get information. All right. If it doesn't sound weird or drive anybody away from the chat or from the live, you gotta go deeper into the spirit realm to see what's happening, and then look on the physical. Not
The
too many
body
people.
language.
Body
You even
language
did a video. You even did a video breaking out body language on that journalist.
on
Remember?
the
So you broke it
exactly.
down for us.
No, that's what I'm saying. And then look at how much weight he has lost. Like, look at how much weight this guy has lost. And I'm not gonna weight shame or fat shame anybody, but like you would know that I've been putting in work, because what do people say? You've been working out? Like, oh, you look good. You've been working out. That's what people say, right? So Coach Sapp has been working out. Coach Sapp is taking this opportunity with a whole new outlook, and it should make everybody excited. And we've been excited we couldn't wait to have him here, because Coach Prime wanted him here. It was obvious Coach Prime has been bigging him up. Every time he had the opportunity, he had to get quiet for a second, because there was this communication that was going on with the organizations and with CU and their representatives. And then that guy came out and he said what he said. There was no conversation. So, and then Coach Prime, but every time Coach Prime had an opportunity to big up his guy, he did it. And I want you to, I got you guys on here. You guys are kind of old school, so I'll put this towards you. I always talk about opportunity, and we talk about having opportunities for people that look like you. How many coaches you think, and I'm just going to say white coaches, how many white coaches you think we're going to actually look at Coach Sapp and give him an opportunity? That's a question for you guys.
That's a good question.
Because Miami's needed a lot of help, but they, to my knowledge, they've never reached out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been in support, and he's been involved, and he's been to games, and he's been around. But why hasn't he had some sort of opportunity at Miami? Because they've needed help.
Right. So it lets you know. So I wanted to make the point of, you see why sometimes when we say black, people get scared, and it's like, oh, coaching, college football has nothing to do with black. It's all about W's and L's. And I'm trying to let y'all know, like, hey, we need opportunities too. You see what I'm saying? Because Coach Prime got an opportunity, and then when you get an opportunity as a black man, you got a friend who some of your friends, a lot of your friends are going to be black, and then some of them want to have opportunities too. So when we are in positions, we get to put people that looks like us into positions that some organizations will probably never have given them a look at all.
Yeah,
that's why I look at this and I say this is very important. This is another thing that people need to take from this opportunity to understand. Like, the way you look at it, Coach Prime gave him an opportunity. I'm not saying Coach Prime is the only person that probably would have given him an opportunity, but that's not the point. The point is that he has somebody in a higher position that was willing to give him an opportunity, and he got it. And now I feel like he's about to take that opportunity and turn it into something way, way better. And it's important that we make a note of that, and it's important that we say that.
But then, Harry, Harry, and then that's part of the problem. Like Coach Prime kept saying, I'm laying down a blueprint, and I'm creating pipeline of opportunities at multiple levels, for players, coaches, trainers, any way possible. And now he's leaning into the whole Professor Prime thing. But then it's kind of compounded with the haters, right? Because you got people who say, oh, he left HBCU, so they're hating on him because he should have stayed with the culture. And they're not receiving or buying in to the elevated opportunities that he's giving and providing for the culture, for the people,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
That part
So
doesn't matter. It's
and
not celebrated. People don't see the bigger picture. It's hard to see the bigger picture when you're focused on the little stuff.
so here you got HBCU coaches, you know, executing and earning their stripes, and I believe they're going to get it done. And you got HBCU players who would have normally been elevated to the Power Five, you know, about to go into the first round of the draft. This is shaking things up, Harry, because there was a lot of
So let me
effort,
ask you. Let's talk
to
about
move
this, right?
things away from
Waldo.
HBCUs to the PWIs, and now Coach Prime is flipping it on its head, saying, "Hey, you got players, coaches, and personnel at the FCS and HBCUs who are capable, and you're starting to see the fruit of it already, even with FAMU head coach moving on. And I believe more and more you're gonna see it's a trickle, it's a domino effect that started, and I don't think it's gonna stop."
So let's talk about this because Surfer Boy is not the only guy that brought it up. So if Coach Brown really wants to change the game, he should hire black coordinators. So are we? Is it that Coach Prime did not want to hire a black coordinator? Whether black coordinators were available? What is the issue, and why do you think that it has to be a coordinator position for the game to be changed? And
Okay, Harry,
Simple,
the answer. Oh,
let's start with you, Willie. Let's start with you, Willie.
simple, man. It's just as simple as the nose on your face. I have to be able to trust you. I'm not going to hire a coordinator just because you're
yeah.
black. Man, I got to be able to trust you. That's so important these days because you could come and stab me in my back. I'll get you. You have all the credentials in the world. Very good resume, good pedigree. But can I trust you? And that's the whole thing about Prime. Can I trust you? When I coach, really quick story.
Mm-hmm.
I had an assistant coach. I had never had an assistant coach before when I coached tennis. And I got this guy on there, man. He turned, I mean, at the referral of other people. Here's what happened. This guy tried to stab me in the back, man. He wanted my position. And I'm gonna tell you, white guy. So you have to be able to trust people. It got to the point where I could not trust this guy. Same way with Coach Prime. He's not gonna hire you because you black. Kumbaya, nothing. If I can trust you, look at the guy that does who guy that go to Jackson? What's his name with the beard? I know his name. Coach Neely. I mean Neely. That's all
Oh, you
they
talking about
talk about is
Uncle Neely?
Prime.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's all they. Even in one of the little introductions that Coach Prime, he said, "I gotta be able to trust you. I gotta be able to trust you." That means that I can turn my back and not worry about you stabbing me in my back. I mean, how many people you have in your life, Harry, that you could trust, man? That's heavy.
So to piggyback on what you're saying, or to even add to that, do you hold out to find somebody you can trust, and it just has to be like if the person is black, if you can't find the black person you can trust, you got to hold out until you find somebody black. Now that's the question, because how many black coordinators are available that number one you can trust, and then if you can't find none you can trust, do you continue to hold out, or do you hire somebody that is not black so that you can get the job done? So go ahead, Wild Dog. What are your thoughts on this idea of Coach Prime can change the game if he hires black coordinators? Because I guess the idea is that coordinators are one breath like the vice president, I guess, because they're one step away from becoming head coaches. So it holds more weight if you hire black coordinators at the PWIs or at the Power Five level than all of the coaches that are black that he's bringing in that are assistants. What is your thoughts on that?
Right. So like I agree 100% with Willie, and just my wording is different because what I've learned in this life and my philosophy is that this life is literally about relationship, and the most important relationship is with our Lord Father God. So whether it's FCS, FBS, Power Five, it's about relationships. first and foremost, your relationships and your network. So regardless of your color, because remind you, I said HBCU. I didn't say, black culture or this culture. I said HBCU because he brought black and white coaches from the HBCU, right? He brought black, white, and Hispanic, Latino players from HBCU. So let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with that. So this black and white thing and all that, it's about culture, HBCU culture, about about giving opportunities for people to level up. So regardless of what the position is, you're giving opportunities for people to pipeline up. So that would hold true if you saw the FAMU head coach. I'm gonna go back to that again. If he was made a head coach somewhere or an assistant or OC, but he wasn't. That's not how it works. There's a coaching culture and a coaching hierarchy. It's an old school, deep rooted system. And just like we were talking about with Sapp, it's best for him to come in at the bottom, even if he's fast tracking and work his way up, because there's just a protocol, it's understanding. You know what I'm saying? Within the organization, it's just a culture of coaching. So it's first and foremost about the kingdom of God and relationship, right? And like Willie said, you don't have to learn for yourself. It's history's full of it, where you have to base things on relationships. And like it with Livingston, if it's not necessarily a direct relationship, then it's indirect, because he could trust Zimmer for Zimmer to refer one of his proteges, and we had covered that before. So still, it's relationships, even though it's not direct. Prime used his network. Rub my back, I rub yours. Zimmer's at the Cowboys, and Livingston's here at CU. It's all about relationships, and I'll take that. I'll take that relationship philosophy over this black and white really nonsense, which I feel like we should need to stop talking about.
Well, the thing is, we can't stop talking about it. One is because it's important. Number two is because Coach Prime has actually made it a mission of his, stating that he wants to open up the door for more black coaches to come into the league at a higher level. He wants to open up the door. If he starts winning, or when he starts winning, then that's going to open up the door for more former players to enter the rings. Not just blacks, but for more former players to actually get the opportunity to coach at this level. But somebody's got to be the catalyst. Somebody has to be the pioneer and make it happen. Make it work. His system,
Right.
as what's the name? DC Carson and Phil So Real have always, said, well, not you, Wild Dog, but DC Carson, Phil So Real, they've always said that his system is not yet proven on this level and is yet to be seen. But now imagine if his system works. We already seen some remnants of this happening, right? Some rumblings of it, where we saw the Texas A&M. Was it Texas A&M? Where Jimbo Fisher, y'all remember that story? Where he was winning, he had a winning record, but they fired him because they said, we need somebody who can, light some things up for us. I'm like, okay, that sounds, everything they laid out for what they wanted sounded like something that Coach Prime was already doing. So that's why I say, I'm not trying to be a race baiter like certain programs. I'm not. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to say that let's hire. If things were fair, right, and life is not fair, and I get that. But if things were fair, then you would hire the person with the right, who was more suitable for the job, or the person with the best resume, and that would be it. But things are not fair. So at the end of the day, people are going to look out for people that look like themselves. All right, you can't fault anybody. Like, I can't fault Disney or any of these white guys or these white companies for making movies and casting a bunch of white people. That's them. If I'm making a movie, I'm thinking of black people because I'm black. If white guys are making a movie, they're casting white people because they're white. It doesn't have to be a racial thing. It's just a thing about who you're gonna mostly associate with people and think about people based on who you are in your culture.
I feel
So
you,
that's
Harry,
why
and if I can,
that
and
door for more black people to come in so that we can have more opportunities provided to more black people, whether it's an assistant job. It doesn't always have to be coordinator, but the more we get in, the better it is, and they can start moving up.
100%. And then when Coach Prime hires someone, this is kind of where I was going with that. It's because they're qualified and available. You understand? First and foremost, it's because they're qualified and available. So if
Rondo, let me say this
so
before I forget.
so we have to
I'm sorry to cut
oh
you off. Hold on. Let me say this before I forget. Y'all remember how we always talking about Coach Prime's black is different from everybody else's black? It's to let you know that he's thinking about it. He says he's thinking about it. So it's not like any other black person that don't have the power to say stuff like, I want my son to go here. We already know that Coach Prime has that leverage. So he can say some of the things that other black coaches may not have the power to say or even do. So if we know that we can trust anybody to hire black, it's going to be Coach Prime. I had to say that before I forgot it. Go ahead, Wild Dog. I'm sorry.
no, I understand, and that's like in the chat we were talking about the Dancy deal because Dancy, a former head coach, came in, as an analyst, at the bottom, and like I said, and working in the system and playing, doing his role. And when the opportunity came to get promoted, he got promoted. That's how coaching works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had someone that's qualified and available, and no one's batting their eyes at it. His resume, what I'm saying, it cannot be denied. And when you're doing a grassroots thing, this is a grassroots development type movement, and this is the kind of how the way you need to operate that. Now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you might be able to just, have the opportunity of saying, oh, I identify with this person, this and that, and roll with it. But it's like you got to be careful. Like, I know we're talking football, but I remember the University of Kentucky, and they gave Rump hell for not having black players, but Rump knew that his first black player had to be a success, or it would cause more issues, more problems, what I'm saying, than not having one, right? So he had to have like the best black player that's going to excel on the court, excel in the classroom, and not be any problems outside, like that. So he had to be real diligent about it. So he referred, like even Wes Unseld, Rump recruited him, and then this man had a conversation. And then Rump goes, okay, and then handed him off to the University of Louisville. This is where you should go, and gave University of Louisville all the information on Wes Unseld. This is your guy. So similar kind of thing. It's Coach Prime. It's a brother, but he has to be diligent and careful about it. And then Sapp understands that, and all of his head coaches on his staff understand and respect that, and they're following the process. So when the outsider, the really old school, 200 years of football, old school heads are looking at it, they'll have respect for it.
Hey, Harry, you've often
Yes,
said this, man. I've often heard you say this. You often talk about the spirit of discernment. Being able to, understand when if a person telling you the truth or not. Pretty much, that's what a lot of it boils down to. And you said when yours kick in, it kicks in. I think that same Prime. I think that Prime has that same spirit to where he knows. You know how he says that these are my kids. I know my kids. I know all. I got 5 kids, and I know all 5 of them. Okay, because I know what one's going to do, what one not going to do, what this one's going to do. Well, then when he gets to know a player, based on what that player is pretty much saying, or a coach, he can have an interview with a coach. But most of the coaches that he's interviewed, he's had some type of relationship with them, either on the field or off the field. So in a lot of the cases, man, people say, "Well, you can't trust coach." I trust him because, he's the man that says he is. When that thing kicks up, brother, it's always right on time, and we ain't gonna see it all the time. We ain't gonna see. Well, why we're asking, well, why did he hire them, or why didn't you know this? Didn't you know this? Didn't you know this? Sure he knew this. Sure he knew it. That's why he hired him. because he see things like you sometimes. You see things sometimes we don't see. You hear things sometimes we don't hear. In the conversation we had earlier, I'm saying, where in the heck you heard that at? Now, where I didn't quite hear that, But you hear things sometimes that we don't hear. So I'm thinking a lot of times when he's hiring these coaches or hiring or interviewing these kids, he can tell right off if he's going to fit this program. He had some kids come in there and tell him. He said one kid came in and it was all about I. Well, Prime already said, well, I already know we don't need him because everything is about him. So we're us being here. This is a very unique situation because we can get back and we can watch it. I mean, that and we know we you. I notice you listen a lot at the detractors and everything. Man, I hear the detractors and then I don't hear them. I don't even question them because they're there for a reason. They're
I
there
listen.
for
I
a
listen.
reason.
I listen to everybody, but let's answer this. Let's
Yeah.
let's talk about this real quick because I think this is important. So
Okay.
let's look at this and let's put this one up first. Syracuse head coach has more black coaches in power position than CU, and Fran just got there from UGA. Come on, man. Come on now, y'all. So okay, so I will say this. I want to say this because I want people to understand. Like Coach Prime, the reason why we say Coach Prime is his black is different. And then real life says that we're just Coach Prime fans. We're Coach Prime fans. We're not. I don't make any corpse about that, and I don't hide the fact that I'm a Coach Prime fan. But I'm not. I'm one that is not a delusional fan. And when I say something, I back it up with information that makes sense or at least is relevant. And this is the information that I'm trying to tell you. Listen to this information. Coach Prime has said so many things that has gotten him into trouble that many black coaches, when they get to a place, they would not say, or they don't even have the leverage to say. Coach Prime has made it his point to say, I want other black coaches to come in, or he would say that coaches, like us, right? But we know what he's insinuating. It's very hard for other black coaches to really have that leverage to say some of those things, and you barely hear them say it. You hardly hear them say it. So what I stand on is the fact that he's so bold to say stuff about the culture and then to back it up with a lot of black artists on the sideline. All right. Not that other white coaches are not bringing in celebrities, but I'm just saying, like, to back it up when people start accusing him of his sideline looking like the BET Awards, when Coach Prime is putting his mouth or his money where his mouth is going, when he's doing the things for the culture, bringing in uh, YouTube influencers, you know what I'm saying? Like he's bringing in $1 million worth of game. He's giving opportunities to a lot of people that probably would have never otherwise gotten the opportunity to come and to just be in the presence of greatness. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not something frivolous that we're sitting here talking about just because we want to be Coach Prime fans or just because our brain is just so wrapped around Coach Prime. We don't have any data. We're just so enamored. That's not what I do on this channel. I don't want anybody to ever accuse me of just being one of these Coach Prime fans that cannot look at real life situation, discern anything. I'm just so wrapped up in Coach Prime that I don't have any type of analysis based on what I'm saying. So I want people to please understand. I want people
Yeah,
to
and
understand where I stand. I want people to understand that when we say Coach Prime is this, he is showing it more so than any other coach has ever done. No code switching, DJs in the locker room, DJs in the cafeteria. When Coach Prime walks into a white room, he does not leave his black outside. He is unapologetically black, and he makes it known that he's not changing for nobody. That's what I mean by his black being different. So when you accuse me of just being a Coach Prime fan, make sure you understand what you're talking about. Make sure you have some data to prove what you're talking about. Because this channel is not one of those channels that's just going to be just saying whatever. I have information to back up my stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that we clear on that. That's why I do what I do on this channel, because I got data to prove what I'm talking about. So don't just accuse me of just being one of these loose fans that just support Coach Prime because my eyes are so glary, I don't see anything else. Because I got data. What else? What else you got besides data? The data can prove it. Who else got? We accusing the man of having DJs in the locker room, DJs in a white cafeteria. In a predominantly white cafeteria, who other black person you know will have a DJ without feeling some kind of way like, oh my God, these people might look at me different. I'm changing their opulence.
Yeah, and bandwagon buffs, be careful of the detractors, because you bringing up Syracuse and the nature of how many black coaches there are. But in this show, we've already talked about the nature of the hire. If it's HBCU, that's a different kind of black hire than just from another PWI from wherever. That has a different meaning to it. And like Harry is saying, that's a different kind of black. Okay? So and then you bring up Syracuse. Well, shoot. Coach Prime gave Coach Nick an opportunity, which led to him going to Syracuse. So a member of the Syracuse staff, right, came through Coach Prime. So sit down somewhere if you're just going to be a detractor.
Not every black coach has to do all that to be considered black. Yeah, I mean, you can code switch all you want. You don't have to eat African food when you get somewhere. You don't have to eat you don't have to eat goat meat to consider yourself African when you go somewhere. But if you are a part of the culture, if that's part of your culture, and if that's part of your identity of being black, and you are saying that I want other black coaches to come after me, if I want to be the first black coach, then whatever you use or whatever you identify with when it comes to being black, then that's what you do. But I know there's a lot of black coaches that are hired in situations that they code switch. You would never hear their culture if they were part of the culture. When they go to the barbecue, then they wear their hat backwards, but you would never catch them wearing their hat backwards, wearing their gold chains anywhere. But when they go to the barbecues, you will see them wearing their gold chain. You know what that's called? It's called code switching. You code switch. But guess who we know that doesn't really do much code switching? He does code switching because everybody got a code switch at a certain point, right? You got to assimilate somehow, some way at a certain point. But guess who's not giving up his gold chains? Guess who's not giving up his DJs? Guess who's not giving up his rap buddies coming to the place? Guess who's not giving up black influencers coming to the house? How many white coaches you know bring black influencers to high power positions and show them off? How many of those people that you know do that for black influencers, giving them opportunities to be seen by the world? I mean, whatever rocks your boat. You see what I'm saying? Whatever rocks your boat is going to rock your boat. But I know that that's true black. When somebody
and then Harry, Prime's relationship with Shermer, right, led to Lone Hope, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Prime to Shermer led to Lone Hope to a black coach. Get out of here, man. Miss me with all that. We're talking about CU. This is a bandwagon Bucks fan. So we know we keep it real, but YouTube friendly. So you kind of bring the data because you brought up Syracuse. That's mute. Yeah. You're bringing up hire offensive coordinator. The hire offensive coordinator we hired brought on someone he had a relationship with, which happened to be a black coach. So.
Yeah. Good observation. Good observation. I like that.
So Surfer Boy saying that college.
He's reaching, Harry. He's reaching.
I mean, I like Surfer Boy's takes, and sometimes he says stuff that makes sense, which is cool. But I like the fact that people have a difference of opinion, and at least if you can challenge me, as long as you can challenge me and we can have a decent conversation, I'm all for it. But don't accuse me of being some loose fans that don't have information. That then I would say call into the show and let me show you what I got. And I will unleash something that you have no idea. But this is not, I'm not talking to you, Surfer Boy. But Harry, you got to take another look at college football. Our black coaches are not code switching. You can't recruit our kids around the country doing that. Just take a look around now. So I would say that was false. That second part is false because if you are, well, first of all, we don't have that many black head coaches, and then number one, if you have them, they're probably at a place where they have a recruiting pipeline already, and they're at a program where you don't necessarily have to do anything. All right, you like if you at a Notre Dame, how many of us watched the movie? What was it called? What was that movie called? What was it called? Ruth or something? Anyways,
Rudy.
Rudy, right? Rudy, right? How many of us watched Rudy? Like the whole country watched Rudy. We know about Notre Dame. How many black coaches do we have at the Power 5 level? Not that many. And then if you have them, they are at schools that have so much money that their base alone, their name alone is going to recruit. So you don't necessarily have to go rock no gold chains or go play no music. You don't have to do nothing about no code switching. So that part is not genuine. So just think about that. All right, Coach Prime is a unique person that we know he's a unique person. All right, no, you don't have to. You don't have to have a gold chain on or play DJ, play music in the locker room to be black. Please, let's understand that. that's not the entire point. All right. So just understand, that's not the whole point. It's if you have a gold chain and if you play music, then you're black. No, it's about accepting the fact that you are black. If I show up somewhere, if I go to a cafeteria that's eating all American food, they're eating hot dogs, they're eating their spaghetti, they're eating their sandwiches, and I show up with cassava leaf, if I show up with palm butter, with goat meat, and sometimes it may be smelly, and I'm sitting there and I'm confident and I'm eating my palm butter, my cassava leaf or my smelly African food, it's to let you know that I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm African and I'm in your establishment and I'm going to let you know that I'm African. That is the point I'm trying to make, that he's not ashamed to show that he's black, and what comes with his culture of blackness is everything that he's doing. That's what I'm saying.
Authentically prime time. Authentically Florida. Authentically Texas.
Exactly.
He's being authentic. He's being authentic.
You need to have just invite Surfer Boy on, but he can't just come on the show just to come on. Bring us some.
No, it's not just Surfer Boy. It's real life. Real life got to come on.
Yeah,
real life got to come on.
Give us some data, right? Give us some data.
Surfer Boy was actually the very first person that I had on. We had our conversation. So, Surfer Boy comes correct. And I like the way that he challenges me, but some people just kind of they'd rather be agitators as opposed to having that authentic conversation. Challenge me. I don't mind the challenge as long as we can say, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, and I see what you're saying. But if it's always one-sided where, you know what I'm saying? If it's one-sided, then the conversation is over. Then I have nothing to say. But as long as you challenge
and over here at BWB, you got to have a sense of humor, and I know Surfer Boy has a good healthy sense of humor. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. That's why I like this guy, because he has a good sense of humor. We can agree to disagree. When I'm wrong, I tell him I'm wrong. When he's wrong, he tells me he's wrong. So we good. You know what I'm saying?
And we can laugh with each other. You know what I'm saying? We can laugh with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's healthy. If you're just grinding on the dark side, it's like, okay, man, how long are we gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? Right, it's like,
no matter what you say, you can never be wrong, you can never be right. It's like, it's like you always got to be right. So those people you can't really have a conversation with, because then it becomes like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. There's no way, even if I show you, like the video that I got up where Ryder is strictly just talking about how Coach Prime does not deserve to be Sportsman of the Year, how he's a self-promoter. Even with that video, there are people there saying that, well, what did the guy say that was wrong? It's all facts. When you tell those people what facts means, that's not facts. Facts is he won the award. That's a fact, right? If you say that he doesn't deserve the award, that's an opinion. So it's like, some people, when you try to reason with them, it's like it doesn't matter, because to them, anything that is just, oh, Coach Prime is a self-promoter. Coach Prime doesn't really like those kids. He likes his own kids. Those are all opinions, but they don't care that that's an opinion. If you tell them that, it's like, no, that's a fact. No, it's a fact that you
And
think it is fact. You know.
and Harry, they avoid the history and the data because it wasn't his first time getting that award. You know what I'm saying?
But it doesn't
It
matter.
wasn't. I'm just saying, Harry. It's like, but that keeps you under the radar. That's a different relationship. He has a relationship with Sports Illustrated. Never mind that the dude's daughter goes to CU. It goes deep, and they're just whitewashing over that and just going to whatever they can nitpick at. It runs much deeper than that. He's got a long-standing history with Sports Illustrated. He's been recognized with this award before, which automatically keeps you under the radar if they recognize you before. And then there's a relationship of the head of CEO of Sports Illustrated. His daughter goes to CEU, so the man is seen and noticed firsthand, not secondhand, but firsthand the impact when he comes on campus and from his daughter. So I mean, haters gonna hate, man. Haters gonna hate, but it is what it is. That runs deep like that, and that's just real. That's just real.
All right, guys. So that's what we have for today. Sorry, Vernon. We'll get you on the next show, but it's 9:00. Let's have final thoughts. Hey man, I like conversations. Everybody that's in the chat, real life, DC Carson, Surfer Boy. We like conversations and we like differences of opinions here. Okay, if you're right, man, we would say that you are right. Okay, if you say something that is challenging, there's no way that I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna crap on you because I'm such a big Coach Prime fan. Yes, I am such a big Coach Prime fan, but the people that are in this community just know that we are more level-headed than a lot of other people. All right, just know that. You know what I'm saying? We're reasonable people around here. We will hear you out before we trash you. And just know that if you don't have, I'm just gonna give you a
You say
clear
before
little
we trash
warning.
him, huh?
Before we thrash you, like I'm just trying to let you know, I want to give you a little warning. When you come to TLP Live, please make sure you have some data. Do not ever come on this live show with just this is facts or your loose information that you may have, because we may be nice, but we are more Chucky like. Okay, we look nice and cute, but we will thrash you if you don't bring data. The second that we smell BS, just know that it's going to get ugly for you. So just know, don't follow the people like Surfer Boy, because he's cultured in this environment. He got a lot of data, so don't ever follow. Don't think that he's just trolling, because he already knows the culture of this show and this constituents. All right, I just wanted to warn everybody. Any new people coming around here, do not get mistaken by somebody and then get owned, because we are about data around here. All right. Willie, what is your final thoughts on today's show and how we handled Mr. Sapp's information with his checkered past and with us thrusting him into the future of buffdom? What are your final thoughts, brother?
I think we did a good job on that. I missed everybody out. Shout out to DC, miss you DC. But man, it's I'm excited that I knew Sapp was coming. He's here. He's going to do a great job. The man has so much to offer, to our defense. A lot of stuff we talked about were kind of, just little things. I don't think there are any major. I don't believe that they're going to have any major issues. So I think it's gonna run really, really good. I look forward to us having a pretty good season. Enjoy your Harry, enjoy your Wild Dog, man. You guys are awesome. So I'm excited just to be a part of this, and just two of us on here, but I like the conversation. I like what we talk about. So when I don't follow the distractors. I mean, and I know, Harry, you give them more credence, and I understand why. But
Yeah, I'm a
you,
creator,
you
so I
know,
gotta give everybody.
yeah,
I
you,
I give everybody
I,
the business, good and bad.
and yeah, and I don't, and I don't get into a debate about anybody on the chat because everybody has an opinion. Um, but at the same time, um, and your platform is nobody's been disrespectful. That's one thing I can really appreciate that. Um, nobody's been disrespectful, nothing like that. So I appreciate that. Well, good job, Harry. Keep it going, man. Um,
Salute, man.
we'll see you next time.
Salute, man. Okay, Wild Dog, you got it, man. What is your final thoughts on today? How do we handle this information? Did we handle with God gloves? Was it handled responsibly? I just want to make sure we get that in there.
I think we covered it with a full breath. You know, backwards and forwards, not letting it allow anything to go through the cracks. And when we thought we were teetering on the edge, we clarified, and then move
Mm-hmm.
forward. But my saying, and I'm so excited to say, Sapp has landed, right?
Mm.
And he is going to
Yes,
be a
sir.
rock for Coach Prime. He is going to be a rock for the CU football organization. And believe it or not, I feel he's going to be a rock. His lifestyle, like Coach Prime was talking about, is going to fully, coincide, and he'll be a rock for the CU University. He'll be a rock in the Boulder community, and I'm excited to move forward. And I feel like all clarification, for some of the confusion or some of the deceivers on the defensive side of the ball. Oh, that's the light. The light sap has landed in and you can't. Anything in the dark is going to be dragged into the light when it comes to these players. And
Mm.
some of them look nervous, and a couple of them look scared, and I'm all the more happy for it.
Mm. So that's some good points, and I can piggyback on that with my final thoughts. I think that Coach Prime has brought in a general. Coach Prime has brought in a field general in SAP, a general that's going to hold people accountable. Because if you look at the weight that he's lost, if you look at the way that he comes in, even though we know that he's a gold jacket, even though we know that he has that bigger stature and he can command a room, he came in humble. The Bible says when you go to a party, when you are invited to a party, and the person that invited you, who is the highest person there, is not there to seat you, and you get there early or you get there where he's not available or she is not available, don't go and sit at the edge. Don't go and sit at the head of the table. Humble yourself and sit at the back so that when the person who invited you sees you sitting at the back, says, "Oh no, come up here. This is where you belong." But if you sit at the head of the table and then somebody else comes that has a more of a stature, and that person intended to have them sit there, now you get embarrassed and you are put at the at back to where you belong, and that's more of an embarrassment. Whereas Sapp came in like that humble person. He came in, he didn't come over here with all these lavish things to say. He just said, "Yo, meet me on the fourth floor anytime you need me. I'm here for you." Yo, if you don't understand that spoke a lot more volume than anything that he could have said, like that spoke a lot of volume. The way he lost says, "I'm determined to win." I'm going to
Yeah.
repeat that. The weight that he lost says, "I'm determined, I'm focused, and I'm here to win." And that's what Coach Prime is ready to do. So while this is warm and fuzzy, and I agree that it is a little bit warm and fuzzy, and I want everybody to understand that.
Mhm.
But the synergy that creates, the idea that he's coming in to protect Prime and he knows what Prime's mission is, and he's here to help Prime, that is going to create at least one or two wins, and I can put that on, and you can put that on the books, because synergy matters, because friendship matters, because relationships matter in this business. And when you are able to smile in darkness, when you are able to smile when the game is tough, when your friends are there and y'all are having fun because the game is tough and you know that you got friends around you who got your back no matter what, that stuff matters. And people are willing, the kids were there, the young men will be willing to play for you when they know that the grown-ups in there will be willing to get along, because mom and dad has to get along for this whole thing to work out. Last year, mom and dad we're not getting along all the way there. This year, I believe they're going to get along. And Coach Sapp is there as a general to make sure that happens. That's all I got for you tonight, guys. Now it's customary for us to have an after show, after party, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if the basketball game is still going on. Can anybody tell me what the score is currently? Or is the game over? Did we go too far into the show? Does anybody know what the score is in the ladies game, Iowa versus LSU? If not, we're gonna have to leave it there, guys. Next time on Friday, well, before I leave, Wild Dog, did you have any follow up on what I just said, or does anything prick your spirit and you're like, I needed to say something before we leave, or Willie, you as well?
I mean, that was almost like a drop the mic moment. I thought you was going to sign off and salute and go. I was prepared for you to. I was prepared for you to close, salute, and go.
In the spirit of our after show, I thought maybe something came up in your spirit when I was talking that you wanted to say anything. But if nothing, then
Man, no, but I just feel like the foundation. On the offensive side, I was expressing Sapp being a rock. I feel like him reuniting with Coach Phillips, the wide receivers coach, that's going to be his rock on the offensive side, and solidifying the identity, the strong help, the other general. If Sapp the general on the defensive side, then I would see Phillips as a general, a first sergeant on the offensive side. These are strong, good, solid character, personality people who love young people and who love the sport, right? And old school, but can communicate, right? Not so much relate, but communicate at the level that the young men need, and help solidify the identity and the culture that Coach Prime is trying to implement. So the foundation is being poured, like Coach Sapp said, and I believe those are the two on either end pouring in to set the foundation on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and then with Coach Prime's oversight.
That's what's up. Well said. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna leave it right there. And I would just say, like, Iowa came. Remember, guys, last year's championship game, title game, was Iowa and LSU. This time they meet in the Elite Eight, and Iowa is actually 82. Is up 82. So that means that Iowa went bad last year. They rubbed their whatever, they band-aid their sore spots, and they got ready to play this year. And Kaylin and her crew, they doing it right now. That's crazy. All right, so let me go watch the game and finish the game. You guys go do the same. I will see y'all on Friday. Bring all of your commentary, because Friday is gonna be free for all Friday. So anything comes up, like at the end of this show, and now 82-71 Iowa. Wow.
Yeah, LSU knows how to win, but if Iowa refuses to lose, there you are.
Yeah, I think Kaylin is on a mission. I really like that girl, man. People try to make me hate her, but I was like, wait a minute. This girl's just a tomboy. She just wants to win hard. Like, she ain't no hater. She's not.
Can't hate greatness, dog. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, people try to make me hate her. I'm like, wait, this girl's just a tomboy. I knew a bunch of tomboys. They don't care about nothing else but just winning. That's all they care about.
Yeah, you just telling on yourself. She's greatness. And Angel Reese is greatness, and NCAA women's basketball is lit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I just feel, I go to WNBA games and I'm just like, you're not gonna be able to get these girls to leave these female basketball stars to leave the NIL for the
For
little
real, yo.
WNBA contracts. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna put a squeeze there, but I'm not tripping. I'm just really loving and enjoying NCAA women's basketballs for real.
Yeah, if there's anybody left out there that thought that that was hating on Kaylin because of the whole controversy last year, this girl's just a tomboy. Okay, let me just let y'all know she's a tomboy. She's not no hater. She's not a racist or anything like that. If anybody or any group or any platform try to divide the two and try to spin that narrative, Kayla's a white girl that just wants to win. That's it. Okay, let her do her thing. Let her spaz out. But I'm here to let you know I saw that girl and I saw her spirit. I can't tell you enough about the spirit realm.
Ballers are gonna ball, and what's inside of you, you must get it out. Yeah.
For those of you who don't get into that spirit realm, that's where you really get to learn people at. So get into that spirit realm, okay? Anyway, I know people are gonna be like, "What is this guy talking about? He's crazy," but they don't get it.
It'll sink in. It'll soak in. Hopefully, it'll soak in.
It's okay. Hey, y'all, man, y'all have a great evening, and I'll see y'all on Friday. Hopefully, I can get y'all on Friday. Okay. All right, guys.
All right. Blessings, Harry B. Blessings, Willie.
All right.
Yes,
salute,
sir.
guys.
Good job, guys.
Have a good night, everyone. 1 minute and 55 seconds left. Oh man, Kaylin got it. What? See you, Buff Dynasty. Salute to you. DC Caution Music, AK. What's up? Surfer Boy. Good night, guys. Good night, everyone. And thank you for making this show a great show. I'm out. Peace.